get to know yourself. We spend a lot of our life thinking about, what should I be when I grow up? What career do I want to go into? What college do I want to go into? But when's the last time you sat down with yourself and asked yourself, who am I? What do I enjoy? What makes me happy? What am I proud of about myself? What are some of my favorite memories? What are some of the things that I've overcome throughout life? When's the last time you did that? For those who are new, my name's Lawrence, and I'm a public speaker. I help teens and young adults improve their confidence, self-love, decision-making, all that wonderful stuff, so that they can improve not only academically, but personally and in life overall. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about the power of journaling. The power of just sitting down 10, 15, maybe 30 minutes a day, however long you feel like, and just writing out your thoughts. Writing out what's on my mind. What am I feeling today? What happened? And getting to know yourself. Because by understanding what goes on in here, you're able to better respond to what goes on out here instead of being so reactive. Now, I talk about journaling a lot, especially in speeches and my TikToks and all that good stuff, but few people have ever really done it. Not many people do it, even though they know it's good for them. And I asked why. Why don't people journal despite me constantly talking about it? Because they don't know how. I don't know what to write about. I don't know how long to write. I don't know. And I used to just tell people, you figure it out on your own. You just set a timer and just write. That's one way of doing it. But I've also created 111 journal prompts that you can get with the link below. And it'll help you to get started. Because the answers are within you. I've noticed this in my own life, especially when I was younger. I would always look for somebody else to tell me what I should do. I would always look to somebody else to tell me how I should live my life. What kind of clothes should I wear? What kind of music should I listen to? What college should I go to? What career should I go into? We often are looking for the answer out here, but the real answer is within you. There's a lot of things that only you know about yourself. There's a lot of experiences that you've had that only you know about because nobody else was there. There's a lot of feelings and emotions and thoughts that you have about yourself that only you know because you don't talk about it. You don't journal about it. Nobody's inside your head. And one of the greatest things to understand is that nobody's a mind reader. You don't have to read other people's mind. You just have to understand your own. And until you understand what's going on in your mind, it's as if you're constantly just reacting to things instead of thinking, why did that make me feel that way? An example I often use is somebody says, your shoes look cheap. Whoa, why are you gonna say my shoes look cheap? And you get so angry and mad and it really triggers something in you. But you need to stop and think, well, why? Why does this person saying that make me feel that angry? I'm so angry. It's normal to not want to be insulted. That's normal. But to feel that angry, you might want to think about that. Maybe it's because growing up you might not have had a lot of money, so you had to wear Walmart shoes and it was a really big thing you got bullied for as a kid. So as you got older, there's this little kid inside of you who doesn't want people to make fun of them for wearing cheap clothes. It could be something like that. Or it could be some sort of childhood trauma you went through. It could be a fear of abandonment. It could be so many things. And that helped me a lot. Because as many of you who watch my videos consistently know, I went through a lot of stuff when I was a kid. It wasn't the craziest life ever, but got bullied a lot, got kicked out the house when I was 13. And I, over time, developed this really big fear that everyone I know and love was going to abandon me. That was a genuine thing that I really felt deep down for a lot of years. And until I started journaling, I wasn't able to really address that. because you can't solve a problem if you're not aware of it. It's as if we have a bullet wound in us and we're just slapping band-aids on it because we don't want to, acknowledge the real thing. And those band-aids look like a lot of people, they'll shop, they'll binge eat, they'll binge watch Netflix, they'll doom scroll, they'll play 12 hours of video games. That's one that I used to do. I used to play video games all day to not have to deal with my problems. A lot of us, we will, I gotta always be partying, I have to always be doing something, I have to drink something, I have to take a substance, I have to do all these things to try and numb the pain, instead of saying, oh, I gotta deal with this. And dealing with it can be a hard process. It might require you to go to therapy, it might require praying, it might require difficult conversations with your family, friends, and relationships. It might require going to some dark places mentally to deal with that. But until you deal with it, you're always just running from the problem instead of actually handling it. And running from it, you'll always be running. A lot of the people who you see outside and they're, I don't want my video getting demonetized or anything. I'm not even monetized yet, but I talk about it like I am. But a lot of people that you see outside who might be homeless or they might be, addicted to things, a lot of times they're running from something. Maybe when they were growing up, they went through something really severe and it led them to just trying to numb that pain. And eventually, one thing led to another, and, now they're out there folded. They're out there just incoherent and babbling and stuff. And it sucks to see that because that's somebody's kid. That's somebody's baby. When I see people like that, I imagine, somebody's mom just my little baby boy, my little baby girl. And to see what happens when people don't get the help that they need is really unfortunate. A lot of people don't have the help that they need because they don't have the money. They don't know where to get the resources. They don't know the resources exist. They're afraid to talk to somebody. They don't want to talk to somebody. And now they end up in child protective services, or they get taken out of the house, or, somebody hurts them or something. A lot of people don't want to talk about it because of reasons like that, which is why journaling is so good too, because you don't have to talk to somebody else about it. You just write it. It's just the notebook. The notebook don't judge you. I used to be really afraid of people judging me when I would talk about my problems. I used to be really afraid that people are going to look at me different. But the journal don't. The notebook does not have an opinion of you. It is a piece of paper. All it is, it's here. Just write. And after some time doing this, you can look back and reflect, and you can see dang, I came that far. We forget how far we've come because we don't document the process. We don't always have a way of being able to look back and see I went from this to this. How when people start going to the gym and they have the before and the after, where the before picture is them at 400 pounds and the after is them at 200. And you're like, wow, look at the massive difference. With journaling, you have that, but it's for your mind. You can read and see this is how I was feeling. This is what I was going through. This is how I was thinking. This is my emotions a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, however long ago, maybe even a week or just a month ago. And then you can look back the next month or the next year and see wow, look at the difference. And by reminding ourselves of how far we've come, it motivates us to keep going, because once you get that momentum going, it becomes easier. Sometimes, you might be stressed out, you might be dealing with something, you might be angry, or you just don't know how to explain it to people. You could ramble for 25 pages straight and the journal doesn't care. You could just write it out. You could just scribble your thoughts. You could write, this thing happened, I felt this way because of this, so now I feel this, and then you find a solution somehow. You could just write about like, wow, I saw a butterfly today and it really made me feel happy because I used to be so depressed and not leaving my house and going outside and seeing the sun and the graffiti and all the beautiful things make me feel so happy. You could just write like that. All you gotta do is just write how you're feeling. And the journal prompt that I made, which you can, get below, it's just to get you started. It's just 111 of them to get the ball rolling, get your mind going, get you in the flow of it. Because ultimately the goal of why I make these videos and why I write books and why I make speeches is so that you don't need me. Like, I don't want people to need what I do, if that makes sense. I want to get you to a point where you're like, Lawrence's videos, Lawrence's books, Lawrence's stuff it's really good. It's a benefit. Like, it gets me hyped. It's that, morning motivation that I might need. But I don't want you to have to rely on me. I don't want you to have to rely on someone or something else to get you going. I want you to learn how to be that for yourself. I want you to learn how to, have challenges and have things that you're dealing with and be able to respond to it in a healthy way and be like, okay, I'm feeling angry. What should I do? Well, I should take a deep breath. I should go for a walk. I should journal. I should make some art. I should do some push-ups. And you're able to handle it yourself. Now, that's not to say that you have to get to a point where you don't need anyone or you never ask people for help or ask people for advice. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is that you can keep yourself calm under pressure, that you can find a solution to most things. And the things you can't find a solution to, you are able to ask for help. One thing for me that I realized through journaling was I used to have a really big problem with asking for help. Like, I didn't want to feel like I wasn't in control. I didn't want to feel like I didn't have things figured out. I didn't want to feel like I couldn't handle it myself. And I would write about this like, hey, why am I feeling this way? Why do I feel so afraid to ask for help? And it really came down to how when I was younger, I often felt like if I wasn't in control and somebody was able to, be above me, that it put me in a position where I felt afraid that that person was going to misuse their power against me, because I had many experiences where people did that. But until journaling and until, writing it out and trying to figure out, well, why does this problem keep happening? Why do my relationships keep ending this way? I meet somebody, we're doing good, and then boom, it's over. It's a wrap. I meet somebody, it's over, boom, it's a wrap. And the pattern just keeps happening. But until journaling, once I started writing about this, once I started figuring out, dang, why did this keep happening? Only then could I figure it out. And in your life, the same thing can happen. I get some money, I blow the money, I don't have money, I get some money, I blow the money, I don't have money, then I get some, and the pattern keeps repeating. My bank account hit this number and then it go down. My bank account go back to that number, then it go down. Why? And then you start journaling and you're like, oh, when I was growing up, I saw mom and dad, grandma, grandpa, my family. This is what I saw them do. Every time I saw them get a raise, I saw them upgrade their car. Every time I saw them get a promotion, I saw them upgrade the house. Every time I saw this, they would do this. So as a kid, I picked up on that pattern. And now, as I'm 16, 17, 19, 20, 25, however old you are, because of what you saw growing up, and you just soaked that up, you start playing out this pattern as you become older. So until you start journaling and start becoming aware of what's going on, becoming aware of the patterns in your life, becoming aware of how are my relationships going, how is my money going, how's my health going, the stuff I'm eating, the places I'm going, the stuff I'm doing. Until you become aware, you'll always just be repeating old patterns. And old patterns can only get you what they're currently getting you. Old patterns will only get you what they're currently getting you. You cannot make 1 plus 1 equal 5. 1 plus 1 is 2. If you want to get 3, you got to change what you're doing. If you want to go from really unhealthy to healthy, you got to figure out, like, dang, why do I always keep picking up the soda instead of the water? Oh, because when I was growing up, I saw mom and dad doing that. Okay, so now I got to go within and figure out the version of me that can have that healthy body, that can have that relationship, that could get into that college, that could become a doctor, that could do X, Y, Z. How do I become them? How do they think? How do they talk? How do they dress? Like, you got to figure out, who do I need to become to get the new thing? Because the version of you that was built from the past can only get you this. If you want to go from here to here, you got to stop doing this and you got to start figuring out, what do I got to do up here? And that's something that's going to be unique to you. Because if you were to tell somebody, okay, here's how to start a business, here's how to run a business, you have to understand that person. Like, you have to understand, well, what resources do they have available? What kind of money do they have available? What kind of knowledge or access to things do they have available? And I just throw that example out there because for some reason, I think a lot about business because I run one. But back to the point, you have to get to know you. Because if you don't know who you are, you'll just become whatever you were told to be. Think of it like this. A baby does not know who or what it is. A baby is born, it's blank, it's told stuff, it does stuff, and it gets certain results. So as a baby, your family speaks English to you. Over time, you learn English. I speak English because mom and dad speak English. Then I dress a certain way because mom and dad dress a certain way. I spend my money a certain way because mom and dad do. I live a certain way. I eat certain things. I behave certain ways because mom and dad do. Then I start going to school. I start going outside. I start making friends, whatever. And I get told, you're good at this. You're bad at this. You are good enough. You're not good enough. You're handsome. You're ugly. Things get told to you. And over time, you soak these up like, man, maybe I am bad. Maybe I am ugly. Maybe I am these things. Or on the other side, you're like, you know what? I am pretty good at football because John, Sarah, my mom, my dad, my brother, sister said, yeah, you're good at football. So until you sit down and get to know, like, all right, what things do I want to keep and what things do I want to change? What behavior do I want to change? What beliefs do I want to change? What patterns of just how I'm acting do I want to change? Until you get to know you, and that goes real deep. Until you get to know what makes you happy. What are you proud of? What kind of person do you want to be? When you leave this earth, how do you want to be remembered? What memories really light you up? Until you get to know you, and this is an ongoing process. It's not like you just have one day where you're like, I know me now. No, it's like a never-ending journey, and the journey is so beautiful. And through journaling, you get to take the journey through your mind and get to know me. You get to know you. You get to know, like, you get to know who you are by just sitting down and asking yourself questions and writing these out and reading them and like really getting to know you, because the answer will come to you if you just ask yourself the question, because the answer is within you. We think it's out there, but it's not. The answer is within you, and you can just open up the page, open up the book, and find it. With that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you're looking for my books, one-on-one coaching, or to book me as a speaker on your podcast or youth organization or high school, you can find all that information in the links below. Have an absolutely great day.